and welcome to episode 31 of the Just Run podcast with me, Rhys Morgan.
And me, Nathan Marshall.
Tonight's guest is Alex Bance from Wiltshire, a sports therapist, and you can check out his Instagram and his business at Spire Injury Clinic. That's all one word. He's also an amazing ultra runner who has taken on some amazing distances with some crazy twists, earning him a world record, actually.
Very crazy.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
And all for a wonderful cause. So, yeah, we'll hear more about that now. Yeah, we'll let Alex do the talking. So thanks, first of all, Alex, thanks ever so much for coming on. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
No problem at all. Thank you. I mean, it's up to you. We can either kick off with a couple of crazy challenges, or as we normally do, Alex, really is just for anybody who doesn't know you, because obviously it's the first time we've talked as well and spoken. Do you want to just give us a bit of background about yourself and in any way you want?
Like I said, I'm a sports therapist. I kind of specialize in runners and running injuries, so I've basically got the best job in the world. Spend all day talking about running with runners, getting them running again. So I love my job. I've been doing ultras since 2019, I think. 2019. And I'm a dad of two, single dad of two. So I'm juggling, bringing up the boys, working, trying to run. And that's pretty much me, mate.
Yeah, nice, short and sweet, mate. Short and sweet, like Danny DeVito, as I say. You're a sports therapist.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said then. So how long have you been a sports therapist? And can I ask what made you go down that route?
So about 11 years now. So I was in the army. And I was, so I was in the army twice. So I was in the army for 8 years. And then I got out for 4 or 5, and then I rejoined for another 5 years. And the difference was when I went, when I was in the first time, I was like 18, and it's all like you just carry injuries and you just get on with it, and you have a bad back, but that just gets issued with your uniform. You don't grumble about it and you get on with it. And then I left and I rejoined, I was sort of now 30, and I was like walking like I was 80, and I was like, this just isn't right. And I got, I sought some help, and I just got some bad advice, and nothing really worked. And I just lost interest in finding help for other people, and just started trying to research things to look after myself, really. So then when I decided I was leaving the army, the partner I was with at the time, she was doing beauty. And we'd set her up in a gym, working out of a gym, doing her beauty treatments. Now, she had a boy and I've got my 2 boys, and I was coming out. So I said, well, if I come out, if I retrain and do sports injuries, we can combine the 2 businesses. We can, one works late, one has the kids, we'll have no childcare costs. And we'll just run it that way. And that's what we did. And we ran it like that for a good few years. And it went really well. And we're not together now, but we're still good friends, which is nice. And, I still stay in touch with her and her boy. But that's kind of how I fell into it. It was selfishly, really, to begin with, to keep myself moving. And then I just wanted to, my family's weird. Like half my family were military. I did that. The other half were healthcare. So I thought, well, I'll tick off that box as well.
Out of curiosity, I think I read, it was either I read or I saw that interview you did with BBC after you did one of your crazy challenges and in preparation for the one we'll talk about in a second. But is it, you said you've had a lot of injuries, is that right? Or you've had a lot of injuries over the years?
I think, yeah. I think I've had every running injury, which helps, when people come in and go, oh, this sucks. Oh, I had that, but I mean, what is a running injury? That was a hard thing to define, because 75% of elite runners are running with musculoskeletal pain, and they're running as elite runners. So what is a running injury? So they had to define it. And the definition is an injury which has caused you to either stop running or seek help. Yeah. Okay. So I wouldn't say I had a lot of them, because I managed to, self-manage and push through and get through it. But running's it's a great sport, it's a fantastic sport, but it's a savage mistress, isn't it? what is it, 80% of new runners will get injured in their first year.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 people will get injured in training for their first marathon. It's hard on the body, and the injury rates are higher than probably any other sport. It doesn't mean you
Yeah.
stop, you don't mean you stop. I don't think in all the time of doing this, I can't think of a time I told a runner you shouldn't run, because a runner knows when they can't run. It's because it hurts too much, and they're not fucking running. But and I know you guys talk a lot about the mental health side of running, and it's very true, and it's documented. So running 3 to 5 times a week, 45 minutes, is a 40% increase in the benefits to your mental health. Yeah.
Wow.
So now you've got an injured runner, yeah, who comes to you and you've got fucking, I don't know, shin splints or patellofemoral pain syndrome. They've got an injury. You turn around to that person and say you can't run. Now, what happens to that individual when they walk out? One of two things happens. They go, fuck you, mate, do it anyway and lie and don't come back. Or they stop. And then you've taken that 40% off them. And then you have this massive crash into depression and there's huge upsides mentally to running, but there's massive downsides when you stop, because it's crippling to people. So I don't stop people running, I modify it. I go, okay, you can keep running, but let's do twice a week. That's lessen the distance. Let's do this, let's do that. And just keep them going, keep them moving, and make them feel like they're benefiting and moving forward. But yeah, I don't stop them. They never fucking come back if I told them that. Would you go back?
No, no. I mean, well, actually, funny thing, actually, I broke my leg in 2014 really badly doing. Well, I did it. I did it doing jiu-jitsu. It wasn't running, but I was a runner, and I had surgery on it quite badly after a sequence of events that shouldn't have happened. Basically, I had a trainee nurse put a cast on too tight. When they took the cast off, my leg was black. It was all kinds of issues, and then after the original initial scan, they said it was a small fracture on the back of my ankle. And then the surgeon or the consultant surgeon basically said he wasn't happy with the bruising. It was too much just for that. And then he did an MRI, and there was he said that I can see at least 6 or 7 fractures. I needed surgery, blah, blah, blah. And funny you say about telling people to stop, because the consultant surgeon said to me, do you run and stuff like that? And I said, yeah. He said, you should probably look at packing that in. And I was like, okay. Not a chance. I mean, many years later, then, I finally started doing something I always want to do, which is running ultras. And now I've run 100, 50, 40, 30 miles, and fuck that consultant.
Yeah. But
But,
they don't get it though, do they? They don't get it. That's why
no,
never trust
exactly.
the chef. You go to somebody who does your sport, and then they get the mentality and they get what what it's all about.
And
I was
did go
actually
to a
speaking to
physio.
a guy today in the gym, and he was running at Pen y Fan on the weekend as his normal run. He does the horseshoe, and he can run to the top without stopping. And he couldn't on Saturday, and he was really blowing out of his ass.
Yeah.
So he decided this ain't right. So he called it a day, because it was 4 a.m. Went down, had himself checked out, and he'd actually had a heart attack.
What?
So he's been told he can't do anything. And in the gym today, he's back in the gym.
Yeah.
And you could see that he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I love my run. It's just headspace for me.
Yeah.
You could see he was just completely lost. What to do himself.
Yeah,
he's got to have a few tests and see how bad it is. But if he wasn't so fit, he would be dead on a mountain.
Jeez.
Thing is, there's plenty of athletes who, you read into it, athletes who've had heart attacks and things like that, and various other ailments, and they've still gone on to do marathons and stuff. I think it's just like you said, Alex. So it's just about not stopping someone from running. Having a heart attack is very different than breaking a leg. Don't get me wrong, but it's about saying, if you really want to do this, you got to know the risks, and we can modify it. You don't have somebody come in who says, I've had a heart attack, but I don't want to stop running. And then 2 weeks later, you got them doing intervals and running up and down Pen y Fan. That would be a very different training program. And I don't think you go to a sports therapist with a heart attack, but yeah, that's true, isn't it? And it's an interesting conversation. I wonder, actually, Alex, what your thoughts are on, do you think, since in your time of being a sports therapist, because I will admit, I had physio and I broke my leg as part of the NHS, which was great. They were brilliant. One of the women that did my physio was a runner, so she understood like my desperate need and desperation to get back to it. But nowadays, actually, when I've like got a runner's knee or had shin splints or I've got a bit of an injury, I jump on YouTube and stuff and social media. I mean, do you think that again, it's I've been running for a long time. I know when I've hurt myself and I can usually tell what it is.
Yeah.
But do you think that with the advancements in social media and YouTube and all of that, has it put a lot of pressure on you, or do you get a lot like do you think it's made it easier for people to get
Um,
access to therapy?
I it's one of the funny things, isn't it? It's like if you're like some people watch trash TV. I go on some of these running groups on Facebook, and that's my entertainment. And you get people who go, "I've got pain here," and they point at their leg. And then you get two groups of people, don't you? You have these some experts who will diagnose off a finger on an ankle exactly what it is, and then the other half saying, "Stop being a fucking idiot. Go see a healthcare professional and stop going trying to get diagnosed with the internet." What's the answer is somewhere in the middle, I think. If you went running to someone every time your shin was hurting, you'd be bankrupt in 2 years. I mean, how many times do you run and you get niggles, you get aches, you get pains, it's part and parcel of the thing. And now so the internet's amazing. So then you can go on YouTube or you can go just Google it, what's this? You'll come up with a certain amount of things which you find, you try them, and 8 times out of 10, you can pretty much put it to bed. It's that 2 times out of 10 that is lingering, and that's the people I see. And it, kind of helps me a little bit because I go, well, have you tried this, that, and the other? And they're like, yeah, it didn't work. I'm like, okay, well, let's fucking put that to one side, right? Because we skip that section, right? That's where it's jumped straight to it,
Yeah.
So I don't think, if it's aches, pains, niggles, things like that, then absolutely, if it's more sinister or serious, then fucking see someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I get a lot, so sometimes I get people in, I don't just do runners, I do all kinds of things. I get people in and I'm like, mate, you need to go see your doctor. I'm very, am I overcautious? Maybe, but there's certain things people say, and I'm like, I'm not, you just need to go see your GP, man. Okay, let's go get some blood tests, get a screen. Let's put these little dark questions I've got in the back of my head to bed first, and then we'll see you. Yeah, because there's lots of things, that can be lingering, which mask as musculoskeletal pain, which can be fatal. Like, and I don't ever say that because I don't want to scare the shit out of people, but I'm like, but I'm always overcautious. I'm not cavalier with what I do. I know my limitations and what I can do. And I know there's a lot of things which can mask as musculoskeletal pain, which needs to get checked out. But nowadays, my biggest problem I have is people going, "Oh, what's the fucking point? I'll never get through. They won't see me. Blah blah blah. NHS is crap. Can't get hold of my doctor." And I was like, "Have you tried?"
Yeah.
Well, no. Well. So where's that come from? It's just because that's what everyone's saying at the minute, But
Yeah.
actually, my experience, with my boys is they've been brilliant. I've rung the doctor and my boy's been in the next day. But
Yeah.
everyone's got this mindset now. It's kind of like a post-COVID thing where you can't see your GP anymore. It's an impossible thing. So what's the fucking point of even ringing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I see. I just say I'm not harsh, but I am down the line. I'm like, no, I am not going to treat you until you've seen your GP. I'm sorry, but this is your health, and if you keep coming to see me, we're delaying something that could be manifesting in your body, spreading.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be responsible for that.
I think I'd rather that. I'd much rather that. I've always been a bit of a realist and stuff, and I'd rather someone, tell me the harsh shit and like rather than like say someone came to you, like you said, and they've told you something, and in the back of your mind you've got these dark ideas and you're thinking this could be something a bit more sinister actually. But if you're one of those people who doesn't care really about the client and they're just in it for the money and they're like, oh, I'll keep hold of them. Yeah, like I would never want to go to that person. I'd rather you say, look, do me a favor. I got a few ideas in the back of my head, but I'm not qualified to discuss it. Go and see a GP, tell them this, this, and this. And if they come back and say you're absolutely fine, come back and see me. Because who wouldn't want that? That's the
Yeah.
best service you can possibly get. Otherwise, someone's bullshitting you. It's like when you dress up in a new outfit and your missus or your partner tells you you look great, when then you look in the mirror and you look like you look a knobhead. It's like, well, just tell me the truth. Like it's that kind of thing, isn't it? Bit
Yeah.
darker than that, but you know.
Is that what you think all the time when you look in the mirror, Reece?
I mean, only usually when you're stood next to me, mate. So it's not me I'm judging.
Good comeback.
Cheeky bastard.